Right then, hopefully the memory's a bit better on this phone now. So, like I was saying, shield your energy from dark magic attacks at this time. The Virgo Earth Warriors. This is for next. Going through a guided ascension. And that literally means your spirit guides are going to help you elevate and raise your energy at this time. So, Earth Warriors of Virgos, male or female, doesn't matter. You're going through a guided ascension at this time. The spirit guides will help you. Obviously, us healers and readers will obviously help you as well. And be mindful of rapists out there. That's for a particular Virgo out there who may be watching. Be mindful. And remember, if in doubt, as I taught my kids, get a rape alarm. You know, when you go out, get a rape alarm. Even if you're being harassed or something like that, get a rape alarm. And then if you're being harassed, all you got to do is pull the pin and it sets off a big alarm and it keeps you safe. It's what I got for my kids as well, you know, rape alarms and that, and it's very helpful. So be mindful and be careful of rapists out there right now, because there are opportunists out there harming men or women, and obviously that's something I don't tolerate, because obviously in the past I was raped, so I know what it feels like. So be very aware and mindful at this time. What else have we got for the collective? The collective is obviously humanity as a whole. And this, I'll show that card in a minute actually. Right, child social workers. Now, child social workers, as I found, targeting parents and disability, you know, disabled parents. So for instance, every time I try to voice the truth, I'd be hit with a child social worker to try and silence me. And that's where I also requested an investigation into corruption in the child social worker industry, because we found individuals targeting my children. See, there were individuals that were ringing up, making false claims about me. Every time, like I said, I voiced the truth of the corruption ring I found, they'd send a social worker around to then harm me and my children, put threats on my children to say I was a bad parent or it was going to be worse for them in the long run, and to put threats on me to be silent. That's why I voiced in a corruption ring that happened in child social services. See, those do-gooders thinking that they were doing good, they were actually causing more harm. They now have to face the consequences for that, as every call is under investigation for false accusations. And obviously friends and family of mine are taking some child social work services, social workers to court, and won against them, use abuse of power, basically. So child social workers, we know there were some corrupt ones when my children were little, abuse of power, and that is something that I also had to voice in. And so a heads up, child social services were being used and abused for abuse of power. And that is something we can't tolerate. Excuse me. Because it then went on to them targeting my children, to say I was feeding them nothing but pizza, or it would be worse for me in the long run. That was the truth of what happened. So, and yes, dark web connections with this as well. This is why they target the vulnerable and the vulnerable parents, the parents of the vulnerable, you know, as in I got targeted as well. And they do it to then put us on the dark web. So this is why I'm not putting up with it. Yeah, there's some dark entities going around Turkey at this time. I will go and cleanse that, because obviously I've been there. I can cleanse along the ley lines. I'll tap into that energy and see what we get along the ley lines and cleanse it out. But there are some dark entities in Turkey at this time. So for healers maybe living in Turkey or mediums, keep an eye on that. If you're living close to Turkey itself, cleanse down the ley lines where you can. What else have we got at this time? Yes, services involvement in what happened to us, and that's why I asked for a full investigation. There were services being abuse of power and targeting us for voicing the truth. They target the safeguarders and whistleblowers, the silencers, as the authorities realised have been targeted and silenced for voicing the truth. But obviously it didn't stop me, and I kept fighting through the attacks to help others at the same time. It may have also been under false attack by family members or friends, excuse me, it's because I had something to eat. So services are involved in the corruption ring that I found, and obviously I had to voice it in 2022 for an investigation and the false accusations that were made in England. As it was an entire corruption ring that spread through England very quickly. That's why I said I requested an investigation into the corruption ring found in England. So, India, oh, and this also applies in India and East America. So, watch the corruption ring and what it was used for. You might find it had something to do with the paedophile and trafficking ring, and why they were targeting our vulnerable children. Can't make it up, can you? So, the paedophiles and traffickers, the services were being used and abused by paedophiles and traffickers to target parents of vulnerable children when they were little, this is. So then they could take the kids, they could take the children off the parents and then paedophile and traffic them. It's what happened to my kids. That's what they tried to do to my kids. And that's why there's in the middle of an investigation on that one, what they did to my daughter. So, use your medium talents and see what you can find in your countries, as I did. Voiced it in back in 2022 for a major investigation. See, people thought, assumed wrong, and abused me, and abused what I stood for, and that wasn't right either. So, past life remembrance at this time. You can do this. So this is why I whistle blew it all in for an investigation back in 2022. And to date, there are still not many arrests being made against this global paedophile and trafficking ring, which is not acceptable. You know, we have to change society. We have to change humanity and make sure these atrocities don't happen again. Obviously, I'm a survivor of it. They then targeted my children in the same way. These do-gooders ringing in social services, making up stories about me, resulted in my children being harmed. And that's not okay, because they didn't even get the information right about me in the first place. Focus on your careers at this time. A Sagittarius, trust your divine self at this time, okay? It actually is led in one way to a massive investigation. Who did what? Egypt. What's going on in Egypt, please, spirit guides, angels? I'm only having messages for the highest good of humanity and planet. Healer's journey in Egypt. So, if you're like me, you studied Egyptology growing up, you want a healer's journey. Remember, Egyptians were some of the biggest healers in the world. That's where the foundations of healing came from. Hence why I'm reincarnated from that time too. I'm going to be writing about it in the novel, what I remember. That is still been shelved at the moment because I had a bit of a writer's block, but I've been sitting there going through all different ideas for the novel. It's already down in note form. I always make it in note form first before I type it up, and then I edit it about 50 times until it gets it as I like it. But so that's in the pipeline as well. Synergize, which is on delay obviously because of the nature of the work I was doing and helping whistleblowing and go through the authorities on what went wrong, what happened and things like that, so we can get justice where we can, as I'm Earth's fail-safe in the event things go wrong. And we have a planet of Earth fail-safers. Remember that. We can all whistleblow the truth. So, at the end of the day, we are Earth's fail-safe, and we are the healers and the Egyptian journey of the healers. And the journey of healing the soul as well. Angelic 19, that is me. My date of birth, 19. But there might be some individuals out there with a date of birth of the 19th, so, like myself. So, Angelic 19, which breaks up to a 10, which goes to a singular number of Angelic 1. Numerology I used to study a lot as a teenager. So, I'm just getting back into it. Planetary wounds need healing at this time. Make sure you're working hard on the planetary wound healing as well, because as humanity was unhealed and dumbed down through the centuries, so was the planet. Remember, we're one of the lowest vibrational planets in the solar system. So, planetary wounds need healing at this time. Sorry, my hay fever is getting worse because loads of people have been cutting the grass today. Focus on family. Angelic 8 at this time. Right, so we've got some computer hackers that were targeting white witches, and remember, they hacked my PC as well and wiped a load of photos off my PC. So the computer hackers are in serious trouble, and they also went through my Facebook, wiping important photographic evidence. What they didn't, and they stole my wedding album as well. And what the Muppets didn't realise is I keep copies of copies. I copy all my photographs even. So, volcanoes, right, so we've got a tsunami warning of volcanoes. Truth, okay? So, Middle East, I'm getting on the tsunami warning, and volcanoes, obviously the Ring of Fire, and the continent shift at this time. So be wary there. And obviously there's only so much we can do, but the idea is we create an early warning system so then people can be safeguarded as quick as possible. The Taurus. Right, what about a Taurus spirit guides? What about a Taurus? Too many cards. Those flipped all ways. Right, so Taurus. We are here for a higher calling. The Taurus is out there. Relax. Enjoy freedom out there. And remember, we are other